You can tell the measure of a man not by how loud he speaks, but by how silent the room becomes when he does. Vito Corleone never needed to shout, yet kings, killers, and businessmen alike leaned forward when he spoke. And when he didn't, they feared what that silence meant. Today, we're going inside the mind of the Godfather to uncover why the quietest man in the room often holds the most power, and how you can master that same influence in your own life. Pause. Let the listener see him, sitting in the dim light, a cat in his hand, eyes half closed, as if even time slows down to hear his words. Opening story, the wedding scene. It's the summer of 1945. Outside, the Corleone estate is alive with music, laughter, and the smell of roasted meat. It's Connie's wedding day. Inside, the tone is very different. Vito Corleone is not laughing. He's not smiling. He's in his office, granting favors. One man leans forward nervously. His daughter was assaulted, and justice never came. He wants the Don's help. Vito listens patiently. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't frown. He doesn't raise his voice. And when the man finishes, Vito leans back, his voice barely above a whisper. "You never invited me to your home. You never called me Godfather." The man shrinks. Not because Vito yelled, but because he didn't. The weight of his calm cuts deeper than any scream could. That's the moment we realize. This is not a man who rules with noise. This is a man who rules with presence. The psychology of silence. Why does Vito's quiet command respect? Psychology has a term for this. The power of low reactivity. People who react less are perceived as more powerful. Think about it. When you're in control, you don't need to rush. You don't need to prove yourself with volume. Vito uses 3 psychological tools in every interaction. Delayed response. He lets silence hang in the air, making the other person lean in, both physically and mentally. Controlled tone. His words are measured, slow, deliberate, signaling he's not here to impress, he's here to decide. Selective speech. He doesn't waste language. Every sentence has weight. Real-world parallel. Think of your own life. Maybe in a meeting, you've seen the difference between the person who dominates the conversation and the one who only speaks when it matters. Who gets remembered? The one who talks nonstop, or the one whose rare words shift the entire room? Power is not in volume, it's in control. Vito understood something most leaders miss. If you shout to be heard, you've already lost. He knew respect comes from 3 things. Consistency, people knew he kept his word. Capability, people knew he could act decisively. Mystery, people never knew exactly what he was thinking. This is why even dangerous men called him Don. The art of slow decision-making. One of Vito's most underrated traits is patience. He never rushes to fill silence. In fact, silence is his weapon. This comes from a principle in negotiation. He who speaks first loses leverage. Watch any scene. People always explain themselves to Vito before he gives an answer. He lets them pour out their emotions, their needs, their fears, and only when they're finished, he gives his verdict. How you can use this. You might not be running a mafia empire, but you are running your life. The next time you're in a disagreement, meeting, or negotiation, slow your speech, lower your tone, let the other person talk first. This instantly shifts the dynamic. You stop chasing approval and start setting the frame. The soft threat. Here's the real secret. Vito doesn't command respect only because of who he is, but because of what people know he can do. Power without action is just posture. But when everyone knows your quiet is backed by real capability, silence becomes terrifying. Remember when Vito told the Hollywood producer Waltz, "I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse." He didn't need to explain. Everyone knew what that meant. The psychology of respect versus fear. Vito isn't loud because fear without respect creates rebellion. Instead, he cultivates both. Respect through fairness and loyalty. Fear through decisive, unforgettable action when crossed. Final reflection. If you want to command respect without raising your voice, learn from Vito Corleone. Be consistent. Be patient. Be dangerous when necessary. People will not only listen to you, they'll wait for you to speak. And when you finally do, they'll hang on every word.